Hey, real quick, if you're a subscriber to Friday Night Arcade, please stick around to the end of the video for a special announcement regarding the channel going forward. Rescue, the Embassy Mission, was released on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1990 by Kimco. This was actually a port of a French computer game called Hostages, which was developed and released in the late 80s by Infogrames. The story here is a group of terrorists have taken over an embassy and are holding an ambassador and his staff hostage. Your job is to infiltrate the area, take out the terrorists, and rescue the hostages. Sounds like this would be a typical run-and-gun shooter, however, it's totally not that. The game is broken up into 3 sections, each with a unique style of gameplay. You'll have to infiltrate the area and get your snipers into position, then use your snipers to take out as many terrorists through the windows as you can, freeing up a route for the rescue squad. The rescue squad then gets lowered onto the roof of the building via helicopter and has to rappel down the side, jumping through the windows, and then the game goes into first-person mode, where you have to clear out any of the remaining terrorists in the building. First section looks like a typical side-scroller, but you'll actually do no shooting at all. The goal here is to avoid being seen by the spotlights while you move each of your 3 snipers into position one at a time. Your snipers' names are Mike, Steve, and Jumbo. If the terrorists see you in the spotlights, they'll open fire, so you'll have to crawl or roll jump to avoid detection, and you can also hide in the doorways of these buildings or in the bushes. If you hide, you can check your position on the map. Each sniper has a specific building they need to get to, and this part can be a little confusing. It's sort of like navigating from house to house in Friday the 13th, but the area isn't quite as large. The good news is each time it's the same, so once you learn which building each sniper is supposed to go in, you can get away with not checking the map. Technically, you don't even have to get all 3 in position. You can still finish the game with 1 or 2 snipers. Poor Jumbo has to go all the way around to the opposite side of the block, so he'll probably be a goner for sure. You knew the risks when you signed up, Jumbo. The play control in this area is pretty stiff, and sometimes the hit detection when you're getting fired at in the spotlights can be inconsistent, so this could be potentially the most frustrating part of the game until you get the hang of it. Once you get your snipers set up, your rescue squad will get lowered onto the roof, and it's time to start taking out the terrorists with your sniper rifle. You can switch back and forth on the map between any of your snipers, and whatever terrorists you take out here will save you some time on the back end, plus you'll need to at least clear out any peeking out of the windows on the top floor so the rescue squad can infiltrate the building. There's not much to this, just move the sniper scope around until you see the shadows in the windows and then take them out. That's right, you're actually playing a tactical sniper in an NES game. I mean, up to this point, we'd played side-scrolling shooters like Contra or whatever, but it's crazy to think something like this was allowed on the NES. This is pretty on the nose. You're just picking guys off in a building one by one from across the street. It's fairly realistic for the time, and there's even a bit of sway when you're looking down scope. There's no real way to know when you're done here, just make sure there's at least nobody on the top floor, then go back to the map screen and pick out one of the rescue squad. You've got Ron, Dick, and Kimco? Pick one and move it to the side of the building where you're confident there is no bad guys on the top floor looking out the windows, and then you'll go to this weird rappel mode. You have to rappel down the side of the building and break through the glass, but the controls are stupid. If you press down for too long, you'll fall to your death. So you have to press down and then quickly press up to stop yourself from gaining too much momentum. And basically just inch down the side, pressing down and up repeatedly until you're over a window. As long as there's not a bad guy there, press A to smash through to the next stage. This part is unnecessary and kind of annoying with the sketchy controls, and odds are you'll end up wasting a few lives before you get it right. You've got 3 guys on the rescue squad, so that's basically your 3 lives here. If they all die, it's game over. Once inside, the game goes into first-person shooter mode. That's right, kids, there's actually a first-person shooter on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Actually, the art style here should look familiar to McVenture fans. I mentioned before this game was from Kimco, who also did the NES McVenture ports of Shadowgate, Deja Vu, and The Uninvited, and the similarities are hard to miss. I'm trying to shoot all these terrorists, but I can't resist the urge to look for torches or search this shelf for clues. Who knows? Maybe there's something important in this heat register. No time for that now. Okay, so you've got a few things going on from this view. You've got your character's viewpoint here, and movement is pretty straightforward. Just turn or move forwards, then shoot the bad guys. You can also duck to avoid getting shot. And try not to shoot the hostages, which are in blue. You've also got a map on the lower left giving you the layout of the floor you're on, along with a counter in the upper left letting you know how many bad guys are left on each floor. Then you've got a timer in the upper right. Move your way through each floor, taking out the bad guys as quickly as possible, and I have to say, this area is done as well as you could ask for given the limitations of the 8-bit hardware. Sure, this ain't no Doom 2016, but take a minute and look at this through the eyes of someone playing console games in 1990. It's impressive given everything that's going on here. Enemies moving around off screen, moving around the area is snappy. Heck, there's even blood. Wait, what? That's right, kids. This game, which was officially released on the Nintendo Entertainment System, features enemies collapsing in a bloody heap after you shoot them at point-blank range. Wow, I'm really surprised they got away with that, even if it was well before the ESRB. Once you take out all the bad guys, pat yourself on the back because you just beat the game. There are multiple endings depending on how many of your team as well as how many of the hostages survive the ordeal. I mentioned the timer earlier, and that's something we need to talk about. This game is criminally short. Okay, at the beginning of the game, you've got several difficulty choices. The first 3 choices dictate how hard the game is going to be, how fast the searchlights move, how many enemies are inside the building, stuff like that. The second set of choices dictates how much time you have to complete the mission, ranging from 10 minutes being the toughest and 18 minutes being the easiest. But that means that even at its longest, you would only have 18 minutes to beat the entire game, start to finish. Now granted, this game would probably take you quite a bit longer than that the first time through, especially just getting used to some of the stiff controls in certain areas. But once you get the hang of it, the entire game can be beaten in under 10 minutes, and then there's not much reason to come back to it unless you just want to make sure everybody survives or you're going for the shortest possible time. Heck, you could skip the sniping part altogether and just rappel into the building as long as there's not a bad guy at the window you're trying to break into. So, with that being said, I'm not sure I could necessarily recommend going out of your way to play this game unless it's just for curiosity's sake or you just want to see what a first-person shooter would look like on the NES. I will at least credit them for coming up with something different. It's definitely not like much of anything else on the console. Also, the music isn't bad at all. It actually kind of changes a little depending on the action on screen, which is interesting. Like on the searchlight stage, if you hide in the bushes, the music goes all quiet for a minute. The graphics on the cutscenes and in the sniper area are well done, but once you figure out how to play the game, there's just the one mission and not much reason to come back once you finish it. So, buyer beware. You could do a lot worse for the $5 or so this game goes for. Just know what you're getting into and temper your expectations with this one. What did you think? Did you play this one growing up or discover it more recently? What are some other oddball games like this on the NES that you can think of? Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end. I wanted to let you know that I'm going to be changing the upload schedule for Friday Night Arcade episodes. From this point going forward, new episodes of Friday Night Arcade will be posted every other Friday at 6 a.m. Central Time instead of every Friday like it was before. I do apologize for the confusion here, but there are some good reasons for this. First up, this will give me time to make slightly longer episodes, probably in the 12 to 25 minute range consistently depending on the topic. Second, this may actually give me a chance to cover more games, depending on the specific topic of the video. For example, rather than making a short 3-minute video on one specific game you've never heard of, I may be able to make a 20-minute video covering several games you've never heard of. And third, well, I've just got a lot on my plate right now in real life. Don't worry, everything's okay. There's just a lot going on right now, and I've got a lot of irons in the fire. But this schedule will give me a little bit of extra flexibility in case my week suddenly fills up with other stuff so that I don't feel like I have to rush out a short video that may not be as high of quality, you know? I don't want to have to rush something out just for the sake of getting something published every single Friday. I do apologize if this is a bit disappointing. I've been mulling this over for a long time now before coming to this conclusion, but at the end of the day, I felt like this really was the best choice going forward, just for my own personal life schedule, as well as maintaining a standard of quality for the channel going forward. This wasn't a decision I came to lightly, and who knows, if things change again, we may go back to weekly uploads, but for now, this is just the way it's gotta be. I can't say enough how much I appreciate all of your support though. This channel has really taken off further than I ever thought it would, and that's all thanks to you tuning in each week, and also all of the kind and encouraging words along the way. Not just in the past few months as this channel really took off, but in the 4.5 years before that, when I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and Well, I still don't really know what the heck I'm doing, but anytime I think about just throwing in the towel on this whole YouTube thing, and the channel hardly had any viewers, those of you that were tuning in would always leave a kind word, and you have no idea how encouraging that was to keep going. Anytime I think about just quitting, somebody would chime in and say how much they were enjoying the show, and yeah, I mean, it just blows my mind that anybody watched it at all. When I made my first video, I didn't think anybody would even see it, and here coming up in October, it'll be 5 years since I posted my first video, and all of a sudden, here we are. That just totally blows my mind. It's insane. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to each and every one of you for supporting the channel over the years, whether you're a new subscriber or whether you're somebody that's been there since the beginning. That's all I've got for now, but thank you so much for watching, and of course, please don't text and drive, and I'll see you next time on Friday Night Arcade.